My name is Lida Garcia. My major is Women's Gender and Sexuality.
My name's Abby, and my major is Public Policy and Economics.
I'm originally from Mexico. My family immigrated to Columbus, Ohio almost 18 years ago. When I first moved to the U.S., it was a couple months shy of my second birthday.
So what I understand from DACA is that when people came here illegally and brought children, these children were protected under certain laws so that they could stay here and thrive because they were born and raised here. And especially from what's been in the news today, this obviously is a little bit outdated and has lasted for longer than I think it was intended to. And so now these kids that were brought here and raised here are now, some of them adults. There are still kids and everything involved.
DACA, to me, was something that at first I was like, and I still feel this way. It was a pat on the pothole, like, yes, here, have this.
I can't understand because I've never been in that position, but I think even being handed a pass gives you a little bit of a downside because you want to be looked at as a hard worker, as a person, that you can do this on your own no matter where you're from. And I come from the standpoint that I think everyone should be equal. I don't think anyone should be hired or get opportunities just because, of the color of your skin, of your nationality, of if you're a girl or a boy, or any other gender.
It was a pothole meant to oppress us, almost in a sense, to say, we're giving you this, be happy with this, you're getting this. So that's how I feel about it. Of course, it's giving me the opportunity to do stuff, wow, that I never thought I was gonna do, especially like stuff so small and so minimal. Like, I never thought I was gonna have a driver's license.
I'm conservative, so I obviously think the law is unconstitutional. However, I think that it is something that we have to deal with because we can't just let it go. So I see it as a way that we can make these kids that came here and are now, some of them adults, legal through some type of citizenship path. And I think policies like that need to be talked about more so than just outruling it altogether. I mean, I'm all for legal immigration completely, so I think if we do make these kids legal, there's so many gifts and talents that can be brought by so many vast different people. And so if it's done legally, I think it'll be really good just for the country as a whole.
I haven't been to Mexico because, obviously, of immigration issues. That was 13 years ago, almost in this December.
I definitely think that border control needs to be strengthened. So I know the president mentions build a wall, and I agree with that 100%. But I think oftentimes when, I were to say build a wall, I think people think, well, I hate immigration, and I don't. I just believe it should be legal.
People say so many negative things about President Trump, which is true, but at the other sense that he actually brought up a conversation that would have never existed unless somebody repealed it or said this is not constitutional. So I think that people don't consider that part of the conversation as well.
President Trump is rightfully so bringing up this conversation, and whether you feel one way or the other about it, I'm also really glad that it's being talked about. Obviously, I don't believe that all illegal immigrants, commit crimes, but I think understanding that we do have these issues. There's amazing people that come here illegally, but there's also really, really bad people that come here illegally, and I think having that and knowing that knowledge is really important to get the conversation moving and some policy moving to benefit the country.
But of course, I still would love to see a conversation with people that not that just the whole, they were brought here when they were children narrative. I think a different narrative as well would need to be brought up, because of course we're not going to have the perfect immigration system, because that's just never going to happen. But I feel like it has to be one where it's inclusive of, not the majority of course, but because that's not going to happen either. I'm realistic about it. It's going to exclude people.
I mean, civil discourse is so important in today's society especially. And I think understanding that both of the sides of the aisle on this argument, and both the United States citizens as well as the illegal immigrants, we're all people. And I just think that it would benefit to hear both sides of things and get something down the middle done that we can both agree on and both benefit from.
And it's going to exclude people that I love and people that I know. So, of course, we have to be open-minded to what's going to happen, even in that context.
The only way we're going to get something done is if we compromise, and so I did think the president did an awesome job, because obviously I don't think the president, and I'm not going to speak for him, but from what he said, I don't think he supports DACA, but I think by him saying, well, we'll extend DACA if you give us funding for the wall, I think that was the way to go. It decreases crime rates. It'll stop but decrease the drugs that are coming through. It'll make it safer for our law enforcement, and I think the funding is going to be huge, and our national debt is already sky high, but I think it's something that needs to be done for our future generations to make this country safer, and I think it is going to make the step in the right direction to strengthen the border.
I have to be exceptional, beyond exceptional in everything that I do, because it's me against an American citizen. Like, it's me and all the stereotypes and all that bad stigma and all the bad press that we get. I'm here and I'm going to contribute to society and be a citizen of society, which is something that's a different narrative that people don't undertake and they don't talk about just because it's too controversial and stuff like that.
I think giving these people pathways to citizenship is super important. If you're here working hard in college, if you have a job, if you're doing all the right things, there's no reason that you should be turned away. The president, had said we should have the right to pick, who comes in this country, and I absolutely agree on the standpoint that if you're working hard, you should be able to stay here in this country. We want people here that are going to live the American dream. But, I hope the president keeps on going with opening up the question, and I really hope that we can get something done because it needs to be done.
It's just not me. There's many other people on this campus and outside of this campus as well that, are in the same circumstance, and that it's not like we're just there to be a token or anything. It's just that we have a voice as well, and sometimes it's going to be ignored and sometimes it's not going to be ignored, but regardless of whatever circumstance it is, it's still that I always emphasize we're human beings. If you strip us of all identities and everything, we're still the same bone and skins that everybody else is, so it doesn't really, it always comes down to we're all humans. It's human versus human at this point, which shouldn't be the case.